Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Olympic live stream from Propulsion Swimming, powered by AP. I'm your host, Scott, and with me, as always, is my good friend, Dan. Dan, we're on the home stretch now. No heats to discuss, only finals, and we've got another GB medal as well. We've got lots to talk about tonight. We've put out on social medias for people to ask us questions for us to answer towards the end of the live stream because we're going to have a bit of time. I'm excited to get into this. I really am.
Yeah, this is the perfect opportunity actually to get your questions in, whatever they are, from the swims that we've seen, from swims that we've seen the last couple of days or throughout this whole week. So yes, throw them in there. And future swims, of course. Yes, who will look good in Paris if they get to Paris, of course. Yes, throw them all in there. It's been an exciting day actually. I mean, I like the 4x1 medley in general. So it's always a good race to watch.
Lots to discuss on that one.
Yeah.
Now, before we obviously review this morning's racing, which I did get up for, I was really proud I got up for that one. We do need to say a massive thanks to our sponsors who are powering this live stream, AP. Like we have said on every live stream so far this week, they are looking to revolutionize swimming over the next few years. They've already set up the AP Race Plus online platform, which is a support program and online learning database for swimmers, coaches, and more importantly, parents. I like the parents are included in it as well.
I was going to say, it is designed for swimmers and parents to get the most out of their swimming journey. And it takes you through the fundamentals all the way through to becoming a world-class swimmer. And if you don't try it, you don't know, basically.
Yeah.
And,
so you can sign up for the AP Race Plus by following the link in the description of this live stream. And you can also go and meet Adam Peaty. I've seen on social media today that his medals might be at these camps. Yeah. So if you want to go see his potentially 3 golds, then sign up to an AP Race Plus. I wish we could sign up. I really do. Race Clinic. Before the end of August, they're all around the country, and you can get coached by Adam and his world-class team.
Yeah, I think just meeting the guy is pretty impressive in itself. And then to be coached by him and his team that he uses himself, I mean, geez, doesn't get too much better than that, especially in this country anyway.
There's already one question, Dan, that I want you to answer. Were you up watching the swimming last night?
I wasn't, but I will be tonight. Absolutely, I will be tonight.
A hard week took its toll.
It was, yeah. Because it's the summer holidays, we do intensive crash courses, and it kills me, to be honest with you. And so, it was a long lie-in this morning. Although I still woke up at like 7 because I need to see what the result of the mixed medley relay was. So I was still up at 7, so it wasn't really a lie-in at all. But I will be up tonight.
Yes, me too. I actually have a massive thank you to say to my fiance who stayed up until 2 and then greeted me with a cup of tea and a nudge and was like, come on, you got to get up and watch the swimming. I was like, oh, thank you very much. And then she went to bed.
What were you like? No, leave me alone.
Well, she threw the dog on me, so it worked.
Oh, that helps. Yeah.
Right. Let's get into the swimming because we have a lot to cover tonight. The men's 100 meters butterfly was the first final of the morning. Caleb Dressel won gold. Not as impressive. Well, no, it was still impressive. It was a world record. Not as comfortable as I expected.
I don't think you've got Dressel to blame. Dressel hit his PB. Obviously, it was a world record. I just think Milak swam insanely good. I
thought he was going to get there. I really did. From 25 to go, you're just like, okay, he's still like a body length down. And then suddenly...
Yeah.
Oh, the touch. And actually, Milak swam the fastest back end of a 100-meter fly of all time.
Yeah, and you put
Phelps ever did.
Phelps was in that conversation because, of course, he was known for his back-end speed in his 100, chasing down Cavic and others. But 26.0 is what he came back in, which is phenomenal. Absolutely insane. I mean, we expected him to come back because that's his tactic in the race. But to be able to catch up to Dressel, if he was another 5 or 10 meters left of pool, he would have won.
I think it was just 1 meter he needed.
Jeez. I mean, the swim speed he has on fly is exceptional. I mean, I kind of compared it to the 100 free with Dressel and Chalmers, where Chalmers' swim speed is much quicker than Dressel's. It's just that Dressel is better at the skills. And when I say that, it's the starts and the turns. Basically, that's why Dressel is so good. If he had the swim speed of these guys, how fast could he go? And then you're talking 48 if he had the swim speed of Milak and the turns as well. Blimey.
I tell you what, I really hope there are kids that are watching Caleb Dressel and just understanding that the reason he is solely winning swim speed, he's basically the same as everyone else. It is the starts, the underwater, which we all the time describe as the 5th stroke of swimming.
That's because it is.
And then
It
it's
is.
turns. Now, his skills were not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I think for the whole of the meet, his spotting of the finish and spotting of the turns have been dodgy.
It's just been
He's
out a
been
bit.
gliding.
Yeah, it's just been out a little bit. I think that he's not at 100% sharpness. I mean, let's say he's at 95, something like that. It's just off a little bit.
I'm gonna put that down to the dreaded C word, COVID.
Possibly.
Caleb Dressel gets better as he races. And obviously there's not actually been that much racing opportunities for him in the lead up to the games. Had he had that full program of racing pretty much every weekend leading up to Tokyo, he would be on fire. But still, a 49.4 is quick.
Very,
very quick.
Yeah, I just wonder if the media pressure is still on him because he's being labeled as the next Michael Phelps. I mean, I think it's going to get to anyone if you're labeled as the next swimmer to take over from the best swimmer that's ever lived. Which I think this is why all credit needs to go to LeBron James in the basketballs, because he's like the next Michael Jordan, or
that's a tangent and a half.
I know. Well, there you go. But he's able to deal with it. That's what I'm trying to say. The mental strength of the guy, and he's able to perform on the biggest stage, and that's now his third Olympic gold, isn't it? And I think there's another one coming in the 53 tomorrow. Let's face it.
Third.
100 fly.
Third.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because 100 free as well. So he's doing everything he can to. He's doing a really good job. But I think the biggest takeaway is Milak.
Well, Dressel with better turns and a bit sharper finish. Do you reckon he goes sub 49? I think he probably could.
Possibly. I said that he'd go 49.3. And that's yeah. I mean, he did pretty well. 49.4 with a glide into that finish. And it was quite a long glide into that finish.
Yeah,
and he glided into a turn. Yeah, I think I wouldn't be too far away with 49.2, 49.3 overall, but I think 48 would be pushing it as of right now. He did take it steady on that first 25 still. He didn't use that second kick of the flight. It wasn't as strong as it could have been. So he was obviously pacing that bit a little bit and then building into the turn. Maybe something he's playing around with and testing, but
as dominant as Dressel is, I am glad that in his events he has a lot of competition. It's not boring to watch because we don't... We say every time he's nailed on to win, but Kyle Chalmers pushed him to an inch of his life. Milak's pushed him to an inch of his life. It's brilliant for the sport. The fact that he can't rest. He knows these guys are coming.
I think that's a good thing with swimming, because of course with Phelps as well, he was never really dominant in his races apart from the 400 IM and maybe the 200 fly. But in the 200 IM, he had Ryan Lochte. In the 100 fly, he had Cavic. And that's what makes him great, because he's able to come over these obstacles.
Yes.
And let's say when he does get beaten, let's say to Chad in London at 200 fly, and then he comes back again at Rio after a half retirement or whatever you want to call it, and then win at Rio. That's what builds the legacy. And Dressel is building that legacy because he's building these rivalries with Milak and Chalmers. And so that's what's going to be remembered, really, is the head-to-heads. You've got to have a dancing partner, is what they say in the boxing.
Oh, I like that.
Partner. Yeah.
You're going all over the place with the sports already tonight.
I tell you what, I've had a little, half a lion, but I'm awake. I'm buzzing.
I want to give a quick shout out to No Ponti. The Swiss, obviously, they went 28 years without a medal in the pool, and suddenly they've had 2 bronzes.
Yeah,
exceptional.
Really
exceptional
good
for them.
You got it right, actually, because you said that Noah Ponte, he looks...
he did look the best, yeah.
I assume
everyone else looked a bit... I hope so.
Yeah. But Ponte,
everyone else
looks
looks slightly off the pace. I'm not sure. Matt Temple didn't overly show up amazingly.
Yeah. Maybe he's in the bracket of being an Aussie that's not quite used to swimming away from home just yet. He might be in that bracket still. Because I had my eyes on Melidinov, the Bulgarian, the youngster.
Yes.
Still young. He was actually way off the pace, to be honest. He came last by 0.4. But plenty of years left to go. I mean, 3 years in Paris, you just never know. So, yeah, plenty more to come from him. But I think a deserved bronze, because he actually swam at pretty much that time in the semi as well. So deserved bronze. And Swizz, should take that's good going for the Swizz. 2 bronze medals.
Yeah. British point of view, Jimmy Guy would have won bronze. I have no doubt in that. I actually saw a few comments before we got started about we did a podcast with James Wilby talking through whether swimming is a team sport, and James contacted us and was adamant that it's a team sport and really wanted to express his feelings. I think you've seen that from James Guy, Matt Richards, and Anna Hopkin. The fact that he gave up this individual for a potential bronze, I would have said now after watching the race back, a strong chance at bronze, a very strong chance. He gave that up for a gold. Is it worth it?
Yeah, well, I was going to talk about it more on the medley later on, but based on those times, in hindsight, yes, he would have won bronze. But of course, put in a situation at the time, real time, it might have been different. Who knows? But yes, a certain bronze was on the cards. But then, would he have done as well as he did? Because he swam exceptionally quick. We'll get into splits at the end. Would he have gone that fast?
I don't think so.
In the medley. So that's
We'll
the other side of it.
We'll get to
Yeah.
that.
But overall, fantastic stuff from him and from Dressel and Milak.
Yeah. Women's 200 meters backstroke. It finally caught fire slightly. It still didn't have me on the edge of my seat like much of the races this week. I've got written down Kylie Mass once again, just like the 100 meters backstroke, did absolutely everything she could to possibly win gold. And she was just beaten by the better swimmer yet again.
Yeah, pretty much. It was the same tactics she used in 100, where she put herself in the right position, get out there. She knew that Kaylee McEwen was going to have her on a back end either way, so there's no point saving energy to ultimately, inevitably get overtaken at the end. So you might as well just go for it, get yourself in that position, then ask Kaylee the question, can you catch me?
Exactly.
And effectively, that was the tactic. The right tactic, I think. It just didn't pull off because you got Kaylee McEwen, who is the second best ever in this event and could potentially end up being the number one in future. I think it's a good silver for Mass, and it's 2 silvers in both the 100 and the 200. So really, I don't know if she's going to be disappointed because, of course, the aim would always be gold, but I would take that as a big positive. That's a fantastic meet she's had, and she's done well in the relays as well for Canada. So I think she's done really well.
I did tip her as a name to keep an eye on going into the Olympics. I thought she had a really strong Canadian trials, and she is a world-class swimmer anyway. She's been around the block for not a very long time, but she's definitely been a name at ISL that stood out. Emily Seebohm, 4th Olympics, and she wins bronze. Very, very impressive swim.
Really impressive. And actually, she's done the standard Aussie tactic of going out steady. And when I say steady, she was 7th at the 100 and then 5th and then building up, then moved up to 5th in the 150 and then comes through and beats the Americans for bronze. And I think experience came through. Honestly, I think it did because the finish that she had was a lot more explosive. They kind of use that fly kick into the finish now, don't they? And that from Seebohm was basically what won of the bronze because it was extremely tight. What was it? 0.2, 0.02, whatever it is between them all from bronze. And that's what won it for her, the experience, because it is her 4th Olympics. And actually, that may be, if you look back over her whole career, that could be her best medal in the whole grand scheme of things, So, yeah, very good swim from her.
For me, it was a big shame Regan Smith wasn't in this.
Oh, that's my biggest take.
It kind of hurts because she is the world champion, world record holder. She fluffed her lines at American trials and got beaten by 2 better girls, but those better girls haven't really shown up at this meet. I get the feeling Regan Smith would have. It's almost a shame the competition wasn't quite where it could have been.
Yeah, that was actually my first note was if only Regan was in this race, because then the 204 that Kaylee did would have potentially been faster. You would have had 2 girls going at least 204, maybe even 203, and they wouldn't have messed around as much in the semi. They would have actually tried to get into that middle lane, I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing ultimately, but I think it would have made a big difference. But going back to the Americans, I'm not quite sure how old they are. I think they're like early 20s, maybe even teenagers, not quite sure. But it's a big learning curve for them. But it's going to bode well because Paris isn't too far away. So it's going to bode well for them. But the big question is whether Regan can get into the mix again next major competition.
Let's hope so. So Phoebe Bacon, I believe, is 19 and Rayam White is 21. So still young. Still both very young.
But here's a stat for you. You know I like my stats. Kaylee McEwen is the first Aussie to win this event.
Yeah, you told me. That's a shock for me. I would have thought the Aussies would have had this, but the Americans do tend to dominate on the backstroke scene, which they haven't at this Olympics, really.
Well, the Americans have not won a backstroke gold this Olympics. When was the last time that ever happened? Never.
It's weird. It's very odd.
I can't think of a time when that was happening. But I suppose Murphy looks good, but the other backstrokers, I mean, these 2 look good. 206s is not bad, but I'm sure they went quicker at US trials. I'm sure they went 205. Can't remember at the top of my head. But learning curve, either way, it's experience, and hopefully they bring that forward to future international competitions.
Women's 800 meters freestyle. It wasn't quite the fireworks that we've previously had in the head-to-heads between Ledecky and Titmus, but nevertheless, I still found this actually really interesting because Titmus was trying to hang on to Ledecky the best she could, and then Ledecky just kicked from 400. She went from there basically and just dropped her.
Yeah, roughly. I mean, it's quite obvious what Ledecky's going to do with these distance events. She tries to get ahead after the first 200 meters to give herself clear water and make it known to the race that she is in charge. I think it's a bit of a mental game as well. Yeah. And she basically just tries to stay in front. Well, she gets in front for 200 meters at the 200 meter mark, sorry. And I don't know, let's say she's 3 meters ahead, give or take. And she just holds that. And then at the halfway mark, you could see it noticeably. She picks up that pace a little bit because I was watching the splits. And roughly, give or take, they were holding the same sort of times once Ledecky was in front after that 200. So the 200 to 400 mark, they were holding the same sort of times. And then all of a sudden, she was knocking out quicker hundreds or quicker 50s. I think she was going quicker than Titmus by 0.2 per 50, which
Makes
ends
difference.
up, it stacks up. It does stack up. I think Titmus did the right thing. She knew she was the underdog. Everyone does when you're going against Ledecky, who's now won this for the 3rd time in a row.
She becomes second on the all-time swimming individuals golds, just behind Phelps. I mean, she's one of the greatest, if not the greatest distance swimmer ever.
You have to put her in the conversation, and I think she would, on most people's list, come out as number 1. I mean, it's crazy if she's not number 1 in my eyes. I'm desperately trying to think of someone else who's done the same achievements as her.
Not same achievements, but I think Grant Hackett was pretty impressive in his day.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's very true. But he still hasn't won as many as Ledecky.
Not like this.
Not as dominant either. Where yes, Grant Hackett had the world record, but she has dropped that world record by miles. I think like 10 seconds plus. It's ridiculous, really, in the grand scheme of things. When you look back, it's crazy.
Quick shout out for Katie Grimes, 15-year-old. 15-year-old finished 4th. I think maybe she got a tiny bit excited and tried to go with Ledecky and Titmus and paid for the price and missed out on the podium. But Quandarella's no slouch either. She's pretty impressive to finish 3rd. Yeah. Big future ahead of her. Really big future. And if I'm her, I'm just following Ledecky's career path. Try and get to Stanford. Try and get into that coaching program and just literally follow Ledecky.
Yeah, pretty much. And she's got, like I said yesterday, she's got a very it was the other day actually, when she's got a very similar-ish stroke. It's a half gallop, not as noticeable as Ledecky's, but there is a somewhat gallop in there. And she can change gear. She the last 100, maybe 50 meters, she can step on the gas and bring it home quite strong.
She did that in the heats, didn't she?
She did that in the heats quite nicely, but then you are dealing with Quandarella, who is experienced. Even though she's 22, she is experienced on the international stage.
I can't believe she's 22. Yeah. She feels like she's been around forever, but I guess that's because she's one of the only European names.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you look at these girls, and actually they've been around on this. Like, Cate Ledecky was on the scene at 15 as well.
Yeah, she's only 24 now.
Yeah, 24. So she's been around for 10 years.
Olympic champion.
Yeah, it's crazy to think, isn't it? But it's great that Casey Grimes is going to come through, and also Summer McIntosh, who didn't make this final, but she'll be in the conversation for future meets, of course. But Quandarella should be really happy with that bronze, especially you said yesterday she was dealing with COVID as well, or has dealt with COVID. Fantastic bronze. Titmus with a Commonwealth record and a PB of near enough 2 seconds as well. So she couldn't have done too much more.
She looked tired as well. She's had a busy meet.
It's a long old meet. It is a long old meet. She's done now, but yeah.
Men's 50 meters freestyle then. Some big names missed the final for me. Some big names. Brent Hayden, Kaleshnikov, Morozov is the biggest.
Definitely.
Morozov is a huge miss. He was the 2nd fastest in the world going into this, and just shows how competitive 50 meters freestyle is. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with heat or semi-final number 1? Because for me, Manaudou looks really, really good for a podium. He looks really strong, and so does Bruno Fratus as well. He's on the cusp.
Yeah, well, as of right now, I've roughly got about 5 names that you've got to try and squeeze into 3 spots. Dressel, of course, is number 1. But then I that's what I took away as well, because Manaudou went 21.6 in the heats and 21.5 in the semi. So roughly speaking, well, not roughly speaking, he is getting quicker through the rounds. So if he's able to go 21.4 or lower, I think that's a podium, to be honest with you. I do. And then Fratas as well. He's also a podium threat. He has to be with the shouts. He was one of the fastest going into Tokyo, wasn't he? Maybe the fastest.
He was up there.
I can't
No,
remember.
he wasn't the fastest. That was Dressel.
Was it Dressel? Yeah. So either way, he's looking good, and a good stat for you again. I've been on fire with his stats so far. Fratas, 90th time he's broken 22 seconds. That's
insane. We have Rita to thank for that one.
Yeah.
She put that one up on Twitter. That's an amazing stat. Stat. It does help that he basically only does 50-meter freestyle, and he does race a lot. A lot.
Yeah. I mean, he's done that more than any other swimmer in history. So, it's fun. Is he going to get a medal? I mean, who would you put in your top 3? We haven't even spoken about semi-final
well,
2.
Let's get semi-final 2, and then we'll talk about top 3. So semi-final 2, Dressel, impressive. His second swim of the night, absolutely no rest for him whatsoever.
Nope.
Mykhailo through, kind of a little bit surprised about that one. A tiny bit. I mean, he's still got very good 50 pedigree, but his form hasn't looked right. Maybe this one was him getting back into some sort of shape. We'll get into the medley relay later, but that 50 clashes quite badly with the medley relay, for which, I mean, can he swim 2 races in a session? I'm not quite sure.
I don't know. I actually did predict that Mykhailo would make it through to the final just because of the background that he has of national age group records in America, and he beat Dressel 1 year. Can't remember when that was now. Was it 2 years ago or something? So he's got the background, the pedigree to do it. It does affect the medley relay later on.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Does he get picked? Does Nick Fink go in?
I don't think he does.
I'm not sure, but we will get onto that. That's a big talking point, that one.
Ben Proud, he very much put my mind at rest. I was quite worried after the heats. The nerves looked like they got the better of him. He was spinning slightly. This one, better start, really better. Being on an outside lane, actually, I think helped him more than anything, because he just concentrated on his own race, less pressure. You saw him sitting down for a very long time until the race started. It's just the way he does things. Still a podium threat. Podium threat. The most important thing for me with Ben was make the final. And then anyone out of all 8 of them can get a medal. The most important thing was get through the rounds, get to this final, and then who knows? You could finish 2nd, you could finish 8th.
I actually think that was a massive confidence builder for Ben, because it was a very worrying start. Maybe it was nerves, maybe it was cobwebs. I don't know. Put it down to something. But to go 21.9, and he was lucky to make that semi-final. Let's not get it twisted. But then to go, what did he go in the end? 21.6. That's solid.
Much better.
Much better. People were talking about his start in the heats. Yes, it wasn't great. It was improved today, definitely, or this morning. Yes, still today. So it was better. I'm still question marks over the swim speed. Is he still catching? Is he still trying too hard? Because it looks like some people do slowly catch up to him on the stuff above the water. But he's finishing well, which is good. That's the reason why he got 3rd in the semi-final. Yeah, you can't write him off. You can't write any of them off, to be honest with you. Even Tom de Boer, who's going in slowest.
He's a dark horse. He's a very dark horse.
There's loads of dark horses, to be honest with you. I mean, the Greek has to be in the conversation. I can't remember his. How'd you say his name? You're better at that.
Well, I was going to say, are we of the opinion that Caleb Dressel has won gold?
Yeah. Well, for me, yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Just because that start just crushes everyone.
It's too good.
So then behind him, I'm going, I think Manaudou for experience. I don't think nerves are going to get the better of him. I don't think he's going to slip any water. And then I really like Golomer. Oh, you're making me. I had it yesterday. I had it. No. Anyway, the Greek. Let's put it that way. I think he gets 3rd. Although I like Bruno as well. I do like Bruno.
It could go anywhere.
Honestly, it could go all over the place.
You could name the whole final and be like, yep, maybe they could. You could, the whole lot. For me, Dressel has won. I've always said that Dressel breaks the world record. I'm not quite sure at the moment. He has had a whole day off now. Because of course, no heats. Of course, the start is looking good. It is looking good. So
that's how you say it.
Golomiev. There you go. Golomeyev. That sounds a little bit better.
There we go. There we go.
So who have I got for my top 3? Dressel, Manaudou. he won gold in London, silver in Rio. I mean, you'll be crazy to take him off the podium. I think he gets the podium. Don't know what color. Let's just go with any color right now. I'd love to see Ben in there, but I feel like he just misses out as of right now. And I'm going to put it in there. Let's go with the Greek swimmer. Okay. Fratus is there as well.
It's so hard. It's so hard. Honestly, yeah, you could finish second. You could finish 8th.
Yeah, it will be like that. Yeah, it will come to that.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Women's 50 meters freestyle. For me, it was a 2-horse race until Sjöström showed up. I didn't realize she had that speed. I thought this was purely Pernell Bloom and McEwen. Cate Campbell didn't look impressive in the semi-final for me. Whereas Sjöström, this is the first time I've really seen her have a fast kind of first 25.
I think I said a couple of days ago that this is Sjöström's best chance of getting a medal. And I think all of her eggs are into this basket, especially after how she felt after the 100 fly, because the 100 free wasn't very impressive, to be honest with you. I think the distance is a bit too far with the training she's done behind the scenes. Of course, I don't know what the training she's done, but of course, we all know that she's broken her elbow and struggled to do fly. But going back to Cate, yeah, she's because of her tall frame. She's 6'2". It's difficult to get off the blocks when you're that sort of tall. But once she's in the water, she does look okay. But you've just got faster reactions from everyone else. I mean, some of the swimmers are going 0.2 quicker than her off the block. That's massive over a 50. Unfortunately, it doesn't cut it. So yeah, I'm going to say it's a 2. No, because Sjöström's in there. I think the 3 are nailed on. Weitzel swam well. I didn't see that coming.
Weitzel did swim well. Very fast first 25, and Kasia Wasik as well. Another dark horse. She's very much, for me, the same boat as Tom de Boer. I think both of those could make the podium, and I really wouldn't be surprised, but they're not getting talked about. I see Cromie Yo-Yo mentioned. Skills are phenomenal. Her skills are phenomenal. She's got the best start in the field, but actually, she's not looked that great this meet.
I think kind of similar to Dressel, where the skills, like you say, the start is the best in the world on the female side. You said Anna. Yes, Anna is very good, but Cromie Yo-Yo is
not just start for 25.
Oh, okay, right, okay.
That's what Anna rules.
So when I say start, I mean like first to 15. That's usually what the start. That's how I mean start. Cromie Yo-Yo is the best of 15, and I think that's why she's always in with a shout, especially on a 50, because she asks the question straight away to the other swimmers: "Can you catch me?" Unfortunately, I don't think her swim speed matches the likes of Bloom and McKeon, but always in with a shout, especially if she absolutely nails the start. She's got an outside lane 1, so yeah, don't count her out. But I like the 3 that finished going in as fast as qualifiers. So McKeon, Bloom, and Sjöström in that order, actually. In that order.
See, I'm going Pernell Bloom.
You said that from the get-go, haven't you?
I've been saying it for a very long time. She's Camp James Gibson. He does wonderful things.
She's defending champ as well.
It's the fact that she's not raced. Yeah, she is the defending champ. She's not raced up against McEwen yet. And everyone's saying McEwen looks dominant, but the times are not that much different. It's 800ths of a second. That's nothing.
Yeah. I think people are talking about McEwen because this is her 4th Olympic record of the meet. So you think, she's on fire. But give or take, Bloom is, that far away from touching her, you know? So, it's going to be a fantastic race. And actually, both of those swimmers, McKeon and Bloom, maybe not the best starters in the world, but the finish of the race, 10, 15 meters out from the wall, out from the finish, is phenomenal. And I tell you what, it's a right old dogfight. And then you've got to throw Sjöström in there, who's the world record holder, who's got the potential to spoil the party. Who could
she's not going near that world record, but she could spoil. I think she might sneak a bronze. She might sneak a bronze. Maybe.
I would love to see 2 of them, 3 of them go under 24. Because obviously McKeon has gone sub 24, as has Cate Campbell at US Trials. Don't forget that. She was second fastest going in.
Trials.
At Aussie Trials. Sorry, I keep saying American Trials. Sorry. So she's got the potential to do it as well. So it's going to be a fascinating race. I'm actually more excited about this race than I am the men's. Because it could go anyway. And then I think it's because I know who's going to win the men's, whereas this one I don't, and I'm more excited about not knowing. That's what drives me. That's what really excites me. Anyway, it's a good one.
Okay, Dan, the big one, mixed medley relay, and that means one thing and one thing only: another gold up on the board. right below you. I'm excited to add that there. Now, before we speak about Team GB, there's so much that needs to be covered, and we're going to start with the Americans before we
Where do you
talk
want to start?
positive. Where do you want to start? They
yeah.
lost it before they got in the pool. I have not a clue why they put a female breaststroker on. You do not win this race with a female breaststroker.
Yeah, they were walking out. They walked out, and of course, you have the foursome was coming out, and I was waiting for Dressel to see if he was on the fly because I think, for me,
you didn't know it, did you? Yeah,
100% Dressel was on the fly leg. I mean, what on earth are you thinking? He's just gone 14. He's gone a world record with a relay takeover. He's going 49.0 potentially, like I was saying yesterday.
Do you know what my biggest takeaway with this is? More than Dressel not doing that race, I feel like Team America have no confidence in Mykhailo. Absolutely none. Because all you have to do is stick him on there. And even if he goes a 58, that's better than nothing. That's so much faster than the difference between all the other strokes.
Yeah.
Which is just how Medley relay works. Fair play to Jacoby. Her goggles came off and she did 105. That's a phenomenal swim. Actually, on paper, when you get in the water, all of those American swimmers did amazing. They did really good times.
Yeah.
The difference is you don't pick a female breaststroker for a mixed medley relay.
There are no rules to it, but really the unwritten rule is you got to have a male on the breaststroke. I mean, you can chop and change the fly and the backstroke, and then you end with a female. That's the unwritten rule. That's the way it goes. And they broke that rule and paid the price badly.
I missed the podium.
Is not good at all. But yeah, you look at those times. They did well.
Yeah, I think that kind of sums up the American relays. Really, they've underwhelmed. Really underwhelmed.
I was talking to you before. They've won 1 relay out of 5 so far. And are they going to win the next 2? I'm questioning that women's relay. I've said Australia win that.
Well, I'm questioning the men's now because they clearly have no confidence in Mykhailo. That's what I've taken away from that.
See, for me, you put Mykhailo in regardless because even if he's off form, he will still put in a 58 for you. If you put Nick Fink in, he will at best do 58. You know, do you want to do at best or do you want to do at least? For me, it's at least, and with the potential to go with 57, maybe it's not going to happen. I don't think, but you've got to put in. You've got to put in a male breaststroker, and it does open the door for the medley relay later on tonight. This is the reason why I'm getting up.
We'll get to that.
But
okay, let's go Team GB then. There was a lot of talk on comms about Kathleen Dawson slipping at the start. She didn't slip. No chance she slipped.
I don't think so.
She goes a 58.8. It just looked bad because she was next to Ryan Murphy and between the guys. It just looked bad. When you actually see her come up, she's a quarter of a body length behind McEwen. She didn't slip. No chance for me she slipped. A 58.8. She can go better. She can go faster, which means this world record could drop further. But then you get to the other guys' times, and they were absolutely perfect. I had to control myself slightly there. Adam Peaty goes a 56.78, which is banging.
Good.
He can go faster as well. He can go faster.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what the funniest stat is about that leg.
Oh yeah, we got told this. Yeah, go on.
He came back faster for the 50 breaststroke in that 100 than Mykhailo came back in the 53 at the end of 200 IM. I'm not going to keep bagging on Mykhailo for that, but that is quite funny. That's reasonably funny.
It is quite funny. I mean, we don't want to bang him too much more or go on about him too much more, but that's a very funny stat. Thank you to the person who said that, which I can't remember the name right now, but it was on Twitter. But yeah, very funny, very funny.
And then Jimmy Guy goes a 50 flat. Oh my life. So I read beforehand that only Michael Phelps and Caleb Dressel have done faster in a relay.
Yeah.
And we put Jimmy down as the greatest relay swimmer of all time. I think he's backing it up this meet. He's making us look pretty good.
Oh, listen, if he goes 50 flat in that men's medley relay tonight, we've got a very good chance of winning. I've said to you yesterday that obviously Caleb Dressel is the one to watch out for because he's going to go 49 flats potentially. If Jimmy goes 50 flat and we only lose a second off that fly leg, oh boy, that gives Duncan a huge amount of confidence, especially when we're diving in together with the Americans ideally. But yes, and then arguably just as impressive was Anna going 52 flat. Oh boy. Just incredible. The whole team, I suppose. Yeah, Kathleen looked a little bit slow,
I mean, it's not that bad.
But she can improve, is what I'm trying to say. She's
Yeah, but she
0.7 off.
was in the wash of Ryan Murphy.
And you got to put that into consideration as well. But overall, it's a perfect swim for them. A massive world record. It was near enough a second, wasn't it? Or best,
and I thought their heat swim was almost perfect.
Yeah, we were asking, does it get better than this? Because the takeover is so much. Basically they were bang on, or so close to being DQ'd, and they've blown it out of the water. Absolutely incredible stuff.
Biggest takeaway, we've been saying this since Europeans. Jimmy's turn.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is up there with the best in the world, if not the best, actually. That was really good.
Yeah, the problem is because I was always excited to see, because I thought America and us would be lane 4 and 5 going into the final, and then we could really see how good Jimmy's underwater is compared to Dressel. We might be able to see it a little bit, even though they're out in lane 1 in the morning. But yeah, fantastic turn from him, and also from Anna. She actually gained half a body. Quarter, half a bod length out of the field. Just fantastic. She's had a great meet. Fantastic.
She really has.
She deserves that gold medal. They all do.
Now, we talked about beforehand people giving up their individuals for this race, and I actually think that was the main difference. GB were the only team going, or the only main team, medal contending team going in fresh. Everyone else had people who were racing earlier on in this session. I really think that was one of the biggest factors in them winning, the fact that they were fresh for this.
Possibly. I mean, China came second, and you had Zhang Yufei, who'd just done the 53. You had Emma McKeon, who'd just done the 53 for Australia. Same with I think there was someone else.
Dressel had just swam for America.
Dressel, I think, was it Cromwell Yo-Yo as well for the Dutch? Can't really remember as on top of my head. But either way, we were definitely the most fresh team, I think. So that was probably, that's where we bring up James Wilby again, talking about the teamwork, and it's paid off massively, giving us now 4 gold medals, which I believe hasn't happened for 113 years, since 1908. We are breaking records all over the place here, creating history, and I actually think it just gets better from here on out. I honestly do, especially when you add in Abby, who I think will get better at the 200 IM.
So do I.
I think Max will get his bronze or silver or gold eventually. I think we got medals to add in here. We've got Adam, who's going to keep going. I think Jimmy will keep going. Anna's just going to keep improving. Kathleen Dawson, if she keeps going the way she's doing. Yeah. Oh, man. I mean, it's really, really promising. It really is.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick 60-second ad break, and then we are going to break down the men's medley relay tomorrow, because GB have a massive chance there. And then we will answer all of your questions. We've got several on social media that we're going to get through as well. And if you guys put any topics of discussion into the chat, we'll bring those up as well. So we will see you guys in 60 seconds time.
We would like to thank our partner AP for powering this live stream. AP is a brand built by our very own Olympic champion Adam Peaty. Adam and his team's vision over the next few years is to revolutionise the sport of swimming through various different projects and events for all swimmers, coaches and parents. They have already launched AP Race Plus, which is a revolutionary online platform that provides you with world-class support and access to Adam Peaty's own support team of nutritionists, psychologists and many more. You can even meet Adam and be coached by himself and his team over the next few weeks at the AP Race Clinics, which will be held towards the end of August. You can find details of this tour and the AP projects in the description of this live video. Thanks again to AP for powering the Propulsion Swimming Olympic live stream.
Looks like me predicting Penel Bloom has made someone pretty mad.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, 0.08 is nothing. 0.08 is nothing. I mean, I think that's a slightly harsh comment to put in the chat, if I'm totally honest. Right, we'll start with the men's medley relay. For me, it all gets down to how fast Luke Greenbank can go. It really does.
That does help.
On paper, I still have America about a second ahead. About a second. However, the Michael Andrew factor comes into that as well. So if Luke goes mid 53, we need Michael Andrew to fluff his lines. I
think Ryan Murphy is a solid 52 too, if not quicker, to be honest with you. Which means if we're going 53 mid for Luke, we are the best part of a second and a half behind. I know Adam can bring that back and potentially be ahead of the Americans actually after that breaststroke leg. But then you got to face Dressel. Difficult. I mean, if Jimmy goes at the same time that he did, 50.0, then we've got a chance.
He's going to have to. He's going to have to.
He is going to have to. It's difficult.
Because that was the perfect swim by him.
It was a perfect swim. I don't know if there's going to be more pressure on him because he knows that he's going to have to face Dressel. I don't know if Adam's going to feel the pressure because he knows he's going to have to catch up. Either way, it's going to be fascinating to watch. And I agree with you. I think the Americans are favourites going in. Plus, they have lane one as well.
On paper. The other thing is Michael Andrew and Caleb Dressel have that 50-free final, not even like an hour beforehand.
Oh, less than that.
And no, there might be a 1500 in the middle, but it's still going to be.
There is. That's true.
An hour or something. But
yeah.
Michael Andrew, he's worried me the fact that his 200 IM he dies so quickly, and they didn't race him today in the mixed medley. His recovery scares me. It scares me. So they need him. They really need him to be on form, and I don't know. I really don't know.
Based on some of the stuff that he does on YouTube, his YouTube channel, he is big on his recovery. You know, the massage gun that seems to be going around, and he does like the electric pulses on his muscles to get the lactic out. So he's big on his recovery, but that's during the like overnight or after a big session, not over the course of 30 minutes, 60 minutes.
I know.
So it's a bit of a different sort of story in terms of recovery. It makes it interesting, though. It makes it interesting. Turns a lot of people watch the telly and watch it and get up in the morning. It's made me want to get up, of course. I mean, I want to get up anyway.
Finally.
But no, I got up to the 203, of course.
Yeah.
That's probably why I was.
I guess the other question as well, we're kind of forgetting about the finishers, the anchor leg. So you got Duncan Scott, who is a monster. He's going to have to go close to his best ever relay time, which I think is a 46.4.
No, he's gone the second fastest ever, which is like 46.1 to win the Worlds.
Okay. So I think he is going to have to be near that because Zach Apple earlier on in the week went at 46.6.
Yes.
And I feel like Zach Apple's got some making up to do after the 4x2.
He hasn't raced since the very beginning, has he? Or since the 100 free?
No, he did the 4x2 relay and completely fluffed his lines.
Oh, he did the 4x2? Oh, I didn't even notice that's how he swam.
That's where they lost, basically.
Right, okay. Yeah, so he's probably lacking in confidence. Michael Andrews lacking in confidence. Dresser will be fine. Ryan Murphy will be fine. Makes it interesting. It really does make it interesting because as of right now, all of our team are confident. I've got no shadow of doubt that they're confident.
They're flying, yeah.
I suppose Luke has got to put in a good leg at the very beginning. He's just got to get himself out there. Even if he blows up last 10 meters, get out there and see what you can do rather than trying to build it back on the last 25, 50 meters or so. Just get out there, push yourself.
Yeah, I guess the other factor is lane one. Lane one for America. I think that's a big advantage for them. I really do.
Yeah, it's clear water and because I assume they're going to be miles ahead. Who is in lane 2? I haven't got it up actually. Who's in lane 2? But they're not going to cause a problem to America, so they're going to be miles ahead.
And Duncan's going to be unsighted basically because he breathes to the right.
He breathes to the right. So yeah, there's a few disadvantages for us. We are the fresher team. That's a bigger plus point, I would say. And we've got Adam on the breaststroke, which is key. So, I mean, if he can take 2 seconds out of Michael Andrew or Nick Finkel, or whoever decides is swimming the breaststroke, then that is a big, big difference in the splits.
Like I said, we've been saying this for almost 6 months now. It's all down to how fast Luke can go. If Luke gets anywhere close to low 53, or maybe even sub 53, it might be on. But right now, I am leaning towards silver. I am... leaning towards silver, breaking it down on paper. Yeah,
I think so. Luke went 53.3, didn't he, at Europeans? So if he's able to PB, any sort of PB, I think then we have a shot. But sub 53 is the more ideal. In fact, actually, I'm going to put it out there. If he goes sub 53, I think we've actually pushed ourselves into a really, really strong position of winning gold. But we will
lane 2 at Japan.
Japan, yeah. So either way, I mean, America are going to be ahead of those, especially on the backstroke straight away with Murphy. So, it's going to be exciting either way.
Interesting.
Yeah. Lots of comments coming. I like all these comments. Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
GB to win.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'm just going to get up and have Have a look what goes on.
Just watch it. I'm going to be screaming at the telly. I really am at 2 o'clock in the morning again. Probably louder than I was at the 200 free.
Yeah, I actually agree. Italy are scary. I do agree. Yeah. I think they go in fastest qualifier, don't they? The question we had is, can they go any faster?
Yeah, they were full strength, weren't they?
Basically,
I think they were on their limit, and we rested obviously Adam in the heats. Yeah, they actually have a shout. In fact, I'd probably put them on a podium as bronze.
Yeah.
You do have to be aware of Russia. I was going to say Russia, but they haven't looked too good in relays, like we've been saying. Australia look all right. Zach Cook is looking good on the breaststroke, but actually the biggest question now is probably Matt Temple on the fly.
He's not 100 breaststroke, mind.
No, he's not. But he would go. He might go a sub 59, maybe a high 58. But then Matt Temple is the question on the fly, actually, because he did all right. He did good, but not anywhere near Dressel's 49 point or Jimmy's, well, based off today, 50 flat. So
it's interesting. I am trying to be as positive as I physically can, but I do not want to say on here that we're going to win gold, because it is right now on PBs, USA's to lose, but there's a lot of variables to throw in there. Right, I think that's that previewed. I'm sure the chat will go on for a little while.
Yeah,
we have some questions on social media that we said we would answer in this live stream, so let's get to them. How do you think that they will plan for future and continued success of the relays? Now, I actually don't think they need to do anything. So the reason I'm saying that is the 4x2 over the past few years. So 5 years ago, this was a bit unexpected that the team got a medal at a major championships for the 4x2. And suddenly everyone wants to be on it, which therefore, because they've got a great chance at a medal at a major meet. So therefore everyone's targeting that 200 freestyle. And suddenly we saw at trials that there were, 5, 6, maybe even 7 swimmers that went under the consideration time for the Olympic team. They all wanted to be a part of it. Now, people are now seeing the medley relay team is insane. The mixed medley relay team, insane. The women's teams, they're there or thereabouts. They're young. They've got some time in the future. I think the continued success actually plans for the future by itself, because so many swimmers will want to target getting onto that relay.
I think success breeds success. Basically, that's what it comes down to. I mean, the Adam Peaty effect, as of right now, we've got so many swimmers in this country who are, 17, 18, and they're going 60, 61 for 100 breaststroke, which is good, very good. It needs to come down to that 58 mark where Wilby is to make sure it's on the world stage, which it will do. I think it will do. And then based on the 100 free, you've got a swimmer who we're looking forward to seeing come through the ranks is Ed Mildred, who I think it will basically, when Jimmy decides to retire, he will overtake Jimmy as the fly and the freestyle swimmer.
We'll see.
So, and we've got great swimmers, let's say Tamarin Van Selm as well. We've got great swimmers coming through, and I think success breeds it. And I think Adam said it perfectly well today, that you just got to believe. The belief is in that squad. And I think it's rubbing off on everyone. Yeah, literally everyone. And they haven't got to do too much more as long as the funding's there. I think funding is key. And especially with the success we've had this Olympics, I think the funding should be increased. Whether it does or not, that's a different question. But yeah.
A few more questions in the chat before I go back to social media. Women's medley relay, Aussie or China?
Aussie.
Yeah. I think Aussie have three out of the 4 of their legs are outstanding.
Yeah, it's just the breaststroke that's iffy. But then you could say China's isn't as strong either, to be honest with you.
So yeah, I think Australia in that one.
I think I said Australia yesterday as well, and you said Canada. What did you? Oh no, you said America in the end, didn't you?
I said America maybe, but yeah, maybe America and Canada to throw into that mix as well. There's 4 teams really fighting for 3 medal spots.
Yeah, I'm again question marks over the American team.
Yeah, no, today didn't fill me with confidence.
Because yes, Abby Weitzel swam really well on the 50, but surely now she'd be
not so good on the 100.
She'd want to concentrate on that 50 because she could win a bronze, if not higher, maybe. But then when it comes to the medley relay, which comes after, the 100 free, as you saw in the individual, wasn't quite up to scratch. It was a 53.2 or something like that. I'm honestly really quite shocked that Manuel hasn't swam more. I thought she would swim more. Yes, she's been struggling with overtraining. Was it overtraining syndrome or something along those? I don't know the terminology as such. But I thought she'd race more, not just the 50. I think she did a heat at the very beginning, actually, in the 4x1. But yeah, I'm surprised that she wasn't in there more. But I think Australia have won that. I do.
Yeah. Very quick question. Do we like roller coasters? Yes, I do.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
What's the most shocking race you have seen at the Olympics? We'll go all time rather than this Olympics.
Oh, blimey.
I'll go Lizak coming back on the French. That was pretty shocking.
Oh, you've gone shocking as in incredible.
Incredible and shockingly bad from the French swimmer.
If we're going to go...
That was dreadful.
Should we say shocking as in like amazed, like unexpected?
Yeah, go on. The 400 free win was pretty good at this Olympics.
I was going to say Hafanui, this Olympics.
Yeah.
I'm also going to throw in there Chad in the 200 fly at London. That came from, really, for me, nowhere. I think most people would agree. But
Schuling,
yeah.
maybe? Schuling,
yeah, maybe. Yeah. That's difficult. We needed a bit of planning for that question. But top of the head, I'd say.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Adam Peaty, Tom Dean, or Duncan Scott potentially for BBC Sports Personality of the Year.
Oh wow, all of them ideally. But if we've got to pick one, I mean, it's probably realistically going to be Adam because he's the media star, if you like. But honestly, Duncan should be more than in that conversation.
And Tom's a double gold medalist as well.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. We can't control who the nominations are, but if one of them are there, we'll start a campaign.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyone from the GB team likely to retire after Tokyo? I'll go no. They're quite young, and Paris is only 3 years away. And Commies keeps a lot of, like Alice Thomas, for example, is 30, but she's Welsh, so she'll stick around for Commies. The only one I had maybe the tiniest of question marks. Oh yeah, Wilmot is retiring. That is confirmed.
Yeah, I was going to say
the only one I don't think he will, but Jimmy has now won everything.
Oh, I don't think he's retiring.
He might want to keep going to get that individual medal that he deserves.
I think that, our 4x1 medley team, is young still. That same team will be at Paris. So I don't think he'll be leaving that team.
No, just a question that he's now done everything. But I mean, the drive is definitely back, isn't it? So
yes, yeah. In fact, actually, he's been swimming the best he's ever swam for now maybe 5 years. Since he won that world championship.
Close to ever. I'd actually like to see him do an individual 200 free and see how good he is right now. We'll see at Commies. That's going to be really fun.
He didn't get on the team, unfortunately. I mean, he probably would have swum it if he came second at trials. But, Tom Dean was quicker.
Will be to finish? No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
We spoke to James in the podcast, and he was pretty sure that whatever happened at this Olympics, there's still more to come because he's enjoying it so much.
Murdoch, no.
Go to Commies.
He's doing Commies. He wants to represent Scotland one more time. After Commies, I think then he's going to call it a quits. But no, Wilby wants to carry on because I think he was talking about his experience at Commonwealth Games. Commonwealth Games last year, or 2018 in the Gold Coast, was his best swimming experience ever, is what he was saying. So I'm sure he wants to have another go at that, especially when it's a home Commonwealth Games as well in Birmingham. So I think he'll want to carry on. So,
how long do the athletes rest for after these games? This is going to be the year where they don't rest. They're all going straight to ISL. There's a few of them that are skipping it. So PT's skipping it. He's definitely resting for a little while with his young family. Yep. A lot of them are going straight to ISL in 3 weeks' time and racing there. They're trying to get some money.
Michael Andrews not doing ISL, so he's having a rest. It basically depends what the swimmer wants to do. And with it being a 5-year Olympic cycle, some of these swimmers will probably be knackered more so mentally than physically. They need the mental rest. Adam's obviously got a great excuse because he's got a young family. He hasn't been around George for God knows how long because, of course, of ISL as well. Roughly when George was born, didn't see him for the whole 6 weeks of ISL. Tough going.
And he's got his AP race clinics to do as well.
And of course, yes, we've got to mention those, of course. Depends what they want to do. I know Abby and Molly are going to go straight into ISL. They said that in their interview after the 200 breaststroke, and it wouldn't surprise me if they carry on. They might have a week off, something along those lines, because of course they're going to have jet lag coming back from Tokyo as well. That takes like 2 days to get over jet lag. So let's just say it takes 2 days for them. So they then won't swim after that for a while. I would say a week off.
We'll see.
Completely.
Were the relay medals worth dropping the individual swims? Well, they all won gold, so yes, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask Jimmy,
if they hadn't have won any medals, then God no, it would have been a dreadful decision. But I think I was listening to Becky Adlington talking about it, and she said that when she was swimming, the coaches just told them you're dropping your individual or you're not on the relay because you've got an individual. Now it's been a decision between the swimmer and the coaches, and a lot of the time that it's been swimmer led.
That's what it should be. It should be that way. It's their careers. So.
I very much think it was the right decision to drop the individuals. It's disappointing in hindsight, given some of the times of the finals, especially Jimmy. But I mean, it's a gold medal for people like Matt Richards. That's the start of his career with a gold at 18.
Yeah. I mean, if you ask Anna what was the right decision to drop your 53 or do the relay, she would have said do the relay. Especially in hindsight, knowing what it took to take the final for the 53, she would have.
I think it's very much worth it.
She would have been happy with that choice, and then to come away with gold, you could see how happy she was on her face. Jimmy would probably be a little bit disappointed in hindsight, knowing what the time was to get bronze. But I think ultimately to come away with Olympic gold, you're Olympic gold medalist forever. So yeah, I think it's an easy decision in the end. In hindsight, of course, but at the time, I think it would have been obvious as well.
ISL will help the post-Olympic blues. I very much think so. I'm really excited to speak to a few of the guys when they're in the ISL camp, especially the ones that haven't quite performed at this Olympics, to understand how this has helped them move on. And I actually think it's a massive, massive benefit for them.
So do I. I'm very keen to get Molly Renshaw on. Because, she didn't have the best of Olympics. She had the perfect lead up. We'll probably talk about that if we can get her on. And it just didn't happen at this competition. I think the ISL is going to be a godsend to her. She hasn't got too much time to dwell about it and think about it. Yes, she's going to analyze the race and where it went wrong. But I just think it didn't happen on a day. And the ISL will take her mind off it. And she can fix the things that she needs to fix in that race at ISL. Maybe it was a turn. There's lots of turns at ISL, of course, with being short course. So I think it's a good
moves their minds on.
I think it's a good thing.
Can I know where you guys are from? I think this is from the Australian who's watching the live stream. We are from GB. We're from Great Britain, UK. I think you might have noticed this whole live stream is slightly focused around British swimming. That's because the British swimming community have basically nowhere to speak about swimming. The coverage on television, in my opinion, is appalling. It's really not up to good enough standards. And that's why we're doing this, to give the British swimming community somewhere to go to, somewhere to talk about swimming. And we do talk about other countries at the same time because our knowledge is okay. It's getting there.
It's getting there. Of course it is. BBC have disappointed me, honestly. And of course, my girlfriend's into the horse riding stuff, and it's been difficult to find. Honestly, it's on there. You have to really dig and search to find it on iPlayer.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I remember at Rio, it was all there, all lined up at whatever sports, judo, taekwondo, whatever, fencing. It was all there, and it was really, really easy and accessible, but it hasn't been on iPlayer. And it really disappoints me, which is a massive shame.
GB's women's relays disappointing after the Euros.
We discussed this.
They are. I think they struggled with lack of depth. So at Europeans, they could rest swimmers and get them into the final. They could sneak them into the final. The Olympics is a very different story. And when you start resting people like Kathleen Dawson for a medley relay so she can swim better later on, you're going to struggle to make it through. I think the women's side just needs that extra little bit of elite depth, and then they'll be okay. But is it disappointing? I mean, they're European champions in all of them. And all of them, they missed a final.
Yeah, but the problem is
they made one final, didn't they?
The best relay teams are not European. The Americas, the Australians, the Chinese, they're all the very, very best.
Do you think it was like false hope?
I suppose you could put it that way. I think the Dutch underperformed at Euros. Was it the Dutch or the Italians? I can't remember which one it was now. We did really well at Europeans, and maybe, yes, false hope a little bit because you know how good Australia and America are. The Chinese have seriously impressed me this meet. Seriously impressed me.
Yeah.
Especially Zhang Yufei. She's got to be up there with the swimmer of the meet, or top three at least. I think that's a big thing as well, because the big countries are just a little bit head and shoulders better than us at the moment. Hopefully it improves.
What do you think of BBC's coverage of the swimming and BBC's surprise at the achievement, having not bothered to follow or air trials? Yeah, I guess they pay the price for not actually following. Basically, if you listen to me and Dan in the build-up of the Olympics, we were predicting 10 medals.
Yeah.
And actually, when you look at it now, we're on course, I think, for 8. And that doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't surprise me, and it shouldn't. So I think that the issue is BBC have the lead reporter or lead journalist, or no, the presenter of the evening show.
Oh, I see. Host. Yeah.
Host. There we go. He doesn't entirely know much about swimming, which doesn't help when we're trying to get TV. We were trying to get swimming on TV a little bit more in this country. It's not good enough. And then Becky Adlington and Mark Foster are clearly struggling with the 2 a.m. starts.
yeah, it's quite noticeable because you get Jameson as well on comments.
Just making the odd mistake and saying the wild comment where you're just like, that must just be sleep deprivation.
That's wrong. Yeah, I mean,
and I think that actually leads quite well into the next question, which is why did Tokyo choose morning finals? NBC.
Money, 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 I'm afraid. Yes, it's all catered to the American market, which it's always been the same. That was the same in Beijing, and it will always be the same. It won't change. It won't change, unfortunately.
I'm beyond fed up of it.
We can be in the streets with our pitchforks trying to get it right, but it will not change, unfortunately, because the money is in America. So, yeah.
Why don't GB have more excited coloured faskins? I have an issue with this because you look at the American kit and it's stunning. It always
looks
has
cool,
been.
Doesn't it? And the Aussies. It looks good then as well.
Yeah. It's a shame. I wish they had something a little bit more.
Yeah. I don't know whether we need to be sponsored by a swimwear company because, of course, America are sponsored by Speedo. So Speedo do obviously all of those. If we could get someone like Arena on board, that would be pretty cool.
Who knows?
But as of right now, ours is just black with a little Union Jack
little flag that no one can see. It's a shame. It's a real big shame.
It is a bit boring.
We need to get the swimsuit guy on it. Get him to speak to all of his contacts and sort it all out.
Yeah.
What will happen with the programming in Paris? It's going to be like London. It'll be back to morning heats and evening finals. They can't change it as much as they have for Tokyo because the time difference isn't as big.
Yeah.
So I would have thought it kept the same. Should Dressel have been on the 4x2 relay saying that's why they lost? I don't think they were one man away from the winning time. That's the thing.
They were never beating us.
They could have put him on, but it could have compromised the rest of his races. Yep. And that one guy wouldn't have got them gold.
No, we were always going to win that race, although we weren't like, let's hold back a little bit, but we were always going to win that race because we've got 4 top quality swimmers in that race, and we had obviously Callum Jarvis in the heat as well. We could have added Cameron Curl, who wasn't even on the plane.
I know.
We had Max Litchfield in the crowd, who could go 147, 46 potentially. Joe has gone a 147 before, so if we needed like an army behind us, we could put 2 relays in the field and maybe get a 1-3 or something like that potentially. I think it would have destroyed Dressel's other races, to be honest with you. I think it would have hindered him badly.
Yeah. Okay, last comment from social media before we start wrapping things up tonight. Did Australia benefit from having their trials at the same time as America? So usually they have them 6 months earlier. Do you think they'll continue this way moving forward? I actually think Australia's quite a hard one to judge. Because yes, they never usually show up at big meets. But again, if you look at where their medals have come from, it's been 1 or 2 names. It's not been like a whole squad. I guess you could say the same about GB, but it has been Titmus, it has been Emma McEwen, Kyle Chalmers. It's the big guys who you expect to perform. I think everyone's had to be flexible with COVID. Will they keep it this way? I'm not sure. I don't know enough about Australian swimming, if I'm perfectly honest.
I mean, we'd be guessing. We always have our trials in March, April time, and I've always...
Go on. There's a question for you coming.
Okay, I don't even know who's in the final. I haven't watched any other sports, so I don't know. What was the question again? Oh, so
Aussie.
Yeah, I think I was going to talk about the British tonight. I think we should have our trials the same as America as well, 4 weeks
We
outside
tried
of
it for London. We tried the taper for it, or the prolonged taper, and it didn't work. So I actually don't mind what they've done this time. It's worked.
I suppose if you do it in March, April, you then have another training block of 2-3 months before the actual real taper, if you like. But the American way of doing it in June has always seemed to work. If you're swimming fast in June, usually you swim fast in July, whenever the major meet is.
Yeah.
For some swimmers, especially on the American side, it hasn't worked. Like Lily King, like Michael Andrew, it just hasn't worked for them this time round. Maybe it needs a rethink from the American side, but it's obviously worked for Australia. I don't know if it stays the same. I've got no idea.
I don't know if it stays the same either. I think maybe Australia have benefited from the fact that there's not really a big time difference between Australia and Tokyo. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe we need to speak to someone in Australia to dig into it a little bit deeper. My knowledge of their system just isn't quite up to scratch to make a definitive answer.
Who's in the tennis final with Zverev?
Is Zverev and
someone else?
Dan wants to know.
I know Djokovic went out, so because I saw him smash his racket to pieces as well. He launched it into the crowd, even though there weren't crowd there. But I'm kind of Karen Kachanov. Oh yeah, Zverev is going to win that. Then Zverev's going to win it. I do like tennis, but I don't like it at the Olympics. It's one of those sports that Wimbledon is bigger than the Olympics. It's a bit like football. I just don't think football should be in the Olympics because Champions League, the Premier League actually, is bigger than the Olympics. But yeah, Zverev, off topic, off swimming, but yeah.
What's wrong with Penny Alexiak? I thought she might defend her title. I thought she's been pretty okay this Olympics. I think she just got beaten by the fastest swimmer. Emma McKeown's been on fire.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I thought Alexiak has done really, really well. Emma McKeown has just been on fire. She showed. I know actually
Canada have really struggled with lockdowns over the past year. They're actually been one of the strictest. I watch a lot of Canadian YouTubers. They've been one of the strictest lockdowns for the past 18 months, to the point where no shops have been open for 18 months and stuff like that. So it's been tough. And maybe if she has been training out there, that might have impacted on potentially her defending her title. But I think she's been all right.
Well, listen, you say all that, and then Kylie Master's done pretty well. Maggie McNeil's done pretty well. So,
she's in America.
Of course, she's in America. Yeah, of course, yeah. So I think the Canadians done pretty well, to be honest with you, and we have to put our hands up a little bit and say, actually, we should have spoken about the Canadians more in our preview. But we didn't. I watched the Aussies, and I thought the Aussies would dominate based on their trials, and they kind of have, to be honest with you. And we've kind of expected all these medals down here for GB as well. And yeah, I think we've kind of been around about right, even though the positionings are a little bit wrong in our predictions. But roughly speaking, we haven't gone too far wrong, to be honest, have we?
Okay, I think that rounds up tonight's live stream. Thank you so much for all the questions. It's kind of mind-blowing that there's so many things to answer. We will be back again 7:30 tomorrow night. We are trying to see if we can get a special guest on with us. We're not quite sure if we can do that right now. If not, we will review the final session of the Tokyo Olympic swimming, and we will basically be reviewing the Olympics as a whole, as an experience, and see, what we take away.
Yeah, mini review, I think, because we don't want to do a whole proper review, because we want to save that to the podcast, which we'll do next week, which will be back, everyone. It's been about 2 weeks since we've done a podcast.
It's been weird.
So we're going to bring that back, and then we'll do a proper review, maybe an hour talk about our best swims, etc. But yes, we'll see if we can get a guest on. We're aiming for a couple of guests, to be honest with you. So we'll see how it goes.
Tell you what, I don't want to leave someone hanging, and someone has just put a question into the chat. What do we think about the French performance? I said kind of halfway through the Olympics, where on earth are the French? I've got no idea. I couldn't answer that for you, but they are disappointing on a world level right now.
It's crazy, isn't it? I'll be watching the 53 today, and Hanique looked really good for the first 35 meters of her 53 and then disappeared. Manaudou at least looks good. Other than that, Watau done all right. Yeah. Gastadello, I can't remember her swimming at all.
I think might have been injured. I think she might have got injured or sick beforehand.
I remember she did 100 backstroke in one of the earlier heats or something like
Yeah,
that.
I think something
But,
went wrong for her. I
that
need
would
to
have been
dig into
interesting
it.
if she was swimming. But yes, French is must be on the rebuild. To be honest with you, must be on the rebuild. So yeah.
Okay, we'll be back tomorrow evening at 7:30. We hope we see you all there. It's been really fun doing these Olympic live streams powered by AP. We do need to say a massive thank you to Adam Peaty and his team for enabling us to do this every night. Like we've said so many times, if you want to get coached by Adam and his team, then go ahead, book your place on an AP race clinic before the end of August. You really don't want to miss out on that. I want to book myself on. I actually do. I want to meet Adam. I want to see the medals in person. I'm sure it's going to be super inspiring for lots of kids.
Yep, definitely.
Dan, early start tomorrow, so we won't hang around too long. Let's get up. Let's see what happens. And
let's hope for another gold medal here.
For in Duncan we trust. I want that to stick. I want that to stick. But
I don't know where that started. We just kind of made that up off the cuff, and now it's just kind of is gone with it. In Duncan we trust. If he is going in or going into the water level with the Americans, we've got it. We've got it. But we've got to get to that position first.
Awesome. So we will see you guys tomorrow, 7:30. Thanks for coming. Thanks for the questions. We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
enjoy the evening and see you all at 2 a.m.
Yeah, thank you guys. See you tomorrow.
Bye.